Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy JD. I hope you've all had a great day. I hope you've all had a great week as always. In this episode, it is that time where we sit down and discuss a few topics that I've seen on the internet that I want to bring towards your attention. And first and foremost, I don't know where to start with this one. Disney Style have now used a man to market girls' clothing inspired by Minnie Mouse on TikTok. Where else would it be? Secondly, the heir to the Anheuser-Busch fortune, Billy Busch, has come out in an interview and condemned the company that bought out his family, InBev, for using Dylan Mulavney in a sponsorship with Bud Light. And we're going to be discussing more consequences Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch are facing because of this sponsorship, which leads us into our last and final topic. The UK government have allegedly come out and told business leaders to stay away from woke culture wars to avoid a Bud Light situation. Yeah, maybe things are turning a little bit. Who knows? But before we carry on, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 50k. It's absolutely amazing. Turn on bell notifications, share this video. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. Well, to start off this first bit of the video, I'm not gonna lie to you here. This is something I saw a few days ago, but quite simply, I didn't have the mental energy to cover it because the first thing I thought was, again, really, seriously, and I stopped there. I couldn't go any further, but Disney Style, who are a part of the Disney empire, have now used a man to model market girls' clothing inspired by Minnie Mouse on TikTok. Disney Style partners with gender-fluid influencer to market girls' clothing. Minnie is me. The Walt Disney Co. and TikTok influencer Seann Altman, a biological male who identifies as gender-fluid, have joined forces to market girls' attire on social media in the latest move showing Disney's solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community. I think you missed a few letters there. I don't want to get you in trouble, but you've got to get it right. The promotional TikTok video posted for Disney Style, a division of the woke Disney company that promotes its clothing and accessories and offers style inspiration to fans, features Altman dressed in a Minnie Mouse style getup, complete with a red dress with a Mickey Mouse pattern, a white collar, black tights, and a white petticoat and yellow heels. Oh, isn't that lovely? So we have a biological male. I'm surprised the New York Post have used such wording, but we have a male nonetheless being used by Disney Style to market girls' clothing inspired by Minnie Mouse. I don't know about you guys, but something seems quite off with that. It certainly seems pretty odd, if you ask me. But me even just saying that, right, and you just even thinking that, is bigotry of the highest level. There'll be liberals, progressives out there screaming, "How dare you question a man being used to market girls' clothing? How dare you? That's obscene." You would even say that. Well, we are living in obscene times. Indeed, but nonetheless, here's the video that Disney Style used to market girls' clothing inspired by Minnie Mouse. Take a watch.
Let's get dressed. Today we're looking at the most iconic friend group, Disney's Mickey and Friends. And the character most like me is Minnie Mouse. And I have the most perfect dress to start the look. It even has little Mickeys on it, and I love how bold of a red it is. It's just like Minnie. I'm thinking of layering a fun collar, like this one, just to give it a little more flair. But now I feel like the dress needs more shape, so let's add this white petticoat under it. It's so fun to move in, and I love how it peeks out at the bottom. But now, to be as bold as Minnie, I need a bold red lip. It's a classic, and it's so pretty. Now, let's add some black tights and pull out the iconic yellow pump. I'm just like Minnie Mouse. But wait, something's missing. I know! How could I forget? A giant red bow, the biggest fashion statement. And now, the look is complete. I literally look like Minnie Mouse.
I told you at the beginning of this, I just don't have the mental energy for this. I don't. But maybe, you know, this is just the point we have now reached, ladies and gentlemen, where the people who are constantly scrolling on TikTok, which I highly recommend you stop scrolling on any app, but the people scrolling on TikTok are now forced to believe that this is in fact a woman. Wow, I can't believe how beautiful this woman is. Look at her modeling the Minnie Mouse clothing. This is so stunning. This is so brave. You see, what I think is actually going on here is, you know, while Seann Altman, the influencer, has taken inspiration by Minnie Mouse and dressed up in girls' clothing, the people scrolling on TikTok have taken inspiration from the Three Blind Mice, because only one person so far in that comment section has actually called out this madness. The rest are saying, "Slay, this is beautiful, amazing, stunning, brave." Maybe that's telling of the TikTok demographic audience. Who knows? But being as this is part of the Disney empire, should we really expect anything else? Because we all know the woke direction Disney constantly like to push for. And to be honest, I'm just waiting for something like this to hit the big screens. You know, they make a film, probably a live action remake that they're going to absolutely destroy, and they will deceive everybody watching. It's going to happen, isn't it? On to the next one. So the heir to the Anheuser-Busch fortune, Billy Busch, has come out in an interview and condemned the company that bought out his family for using Dylan Mulvaney in a sponsorship to promote Bud Light in an interview with TMZ. The Anheuser-Busch heir says founders would be rolling over in their grave over Dylan Mulvaney partnership that has cost the company $27 billion in value. Sitting down for an interview on Friday, former owner Billy Busch, 62, lamented the series of failed PR stunts his successors undertook with the influencer and how it's already lost his father's and grandfather's firm some $27 billion. Speaking to TMZ, Busch said his late father, August Gussie Busch Jr., and his dad, AB creator Adolphus Busch, would roll over in their graves if they were alive to see the financial and social repercussions wrought by the financial partnership. Well, before long, and it's quite mean of me to say, but this company will be meeting your ancestors because, you know, it's getting closer and closer to being 6 foot under. It's all a little bit morbid, isn't it, when I say it like that? But here is this interview that Billy Busch did with TMZ where he voiced his opinion, and the presenters, well, they weren't too happy that he disagreed with the Dylan Mulvaney partnership. Take a watch.
You must have strong opinions about the
Dylan Mulvaney campaign.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney campaign.
I think my family, my ancestors would have rollen over in their grave. They were very patriotic. They loved this country and what it stood for. They believed that transgender, gays, that sort of thing was all a very personal issue. They love this country because it is a free country and people are allowed to do what they want. But it was never meant to be on a beer can and never meant to be pushed in people's faces.
What do you think of the reaction to to that Instagram post? Because the reaction was seismic.
Yeah, you know, I think people who drink beer, I think they're your common folk. I think they are the blue collar worker who goes out and works hard every single day, and the last thing they want pushed down their throat, you know, or to be drinking is a beer can with that kind of message on it. I just don't think that's what they're looking for. They want their beer to be truly American, truly patriotic, as it always has been, truly America's beer, which Bud Light was and probably isn't any longer.
Why is it not American?
I think it's not American. I'm not saying it's I just don't think the audience that drinks beer is into transgenders and that kind of advertising. The people, for the majority who drink beer, care about wholesome things, care about America, and believe that certain things in life should be kept private. And transgenderism is one of them.
Why? Why?
Why should that be kept private?
Yeah,
Because
if I'm gay and he's gay, should we keep that private?
Yeah, you know, you don't have to keep it private, but I don't think you should advertise it on a beer can. Do you? I mean, if I like,
we just looked at Bud Light rainbow cans. I mean, the company advertised on there, and that seemed to be okay.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Why do you think then, you guys, that people are turning away and boycotting Bud Light now?
Prejudice.
Why?
Prejudice.
You believe it's prejudice?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's never going to get better for this company, is it? And we'll discuss a little bit more of the consequences they're facing as a whole in just a minute. But clearly these TMZ presenters don't quite understand why people are angry and are frustrated. They're clearly very emotional in themselves. It's not prejudice. The movement that Dylan Mulvaney stands for and pushes for constantly on social media, when you look at it at a deeper level, the backlash is completely justifiable. Are you telling all the women that it's prejudice after Bud Light sent Dylan Mulvaney a can celebrating his day 365 of girlhood? That is them trying to convince the women, telling the women and everybody else in the world that Dylan Mulvaney is just as much of a woman than any other woman out there. But that's prejudice, right? It's prejudice to disagree with that. It's always the same with these people. If you disagree with anything that's woke, progressive, you're the one that's simply in the wrong. It's completely in the wrong. You can't disagree with that. How dare you? How dare you become such an evil person? It's mean. It's hateful. They never really want to sit down and understand why people dislike something or why people are voicing their opinions against something. And, some people will say, well, Billy Bush's opinion doesn't even matter. He sold the company, his family sold the company for billions. He probably doesn't even care. Well, I don't really agree with that. Clearly, he does care a little bit, because when you sell anything, it doesn't matter what it is, a product, a company, you're going to hope the person you sell it to is going to do a good job, because you're still going to have that sentimental attachment to it. You're going to hope that person, the company that buys you out or buys your product, is going to do something great with it. And clearly, InBev are going in the opposite direction of great. And as I said, it is getting worse and worse and worse for them, as Bud Light sinks another 26% amid Dylan Mulavney fiasco. The Anheuser-Busch brand sales plunged by 25.9% during the week ended July 29th, extending the downward spiral since Bud Light's ill-fated tie-up with the trans influencer on April 1st, according to data from Nielsen IQ and Bump Williams Consulting. And if that wasn't enough, Anheuser-Busch are set to sell off 8 beer beverage brands amid falling Bud Light sales. Anheuser-Busch InBev is selling 8 beer and beverage brands to cannabis company Tilray Brands just 1 month after the beer giant laid off hundreds of its US workers amid a slump in US sales of Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch will sell Shockstop, Blue Point, Breckenridge Brewery, Red Hook Brewery, Highball Energy, and other brands to the cannabis company for an undisclosed amount, Tilray Brands announced. The sale, which is expected to close this year and will be paid in cash, includes breweries and brew pubs associated with the brands as well as current employees. This is the biggest boycott I think we've ever seen. Nobody could have expected this, right? But according to the TMZ presenters, it's prejudice. All of these people are clearly in the wrong for not wanting to buy Bud Light or associate themselves with Anheuser-Busch whatsoever. But again, I don't see this downward spiral stopping anytime soon. I would bet, before this year closes, we're going to get some huge news indicating the financial situation Anheuser-Busch Bud Light are in. If their financial situation isn't bad enough anyway, I'm sure it will get worse and worse. And because of all of this, it links perfectly into our next and final story. So because of this controversy involving Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, them losing millions of dollars, billions in market value, and millions of customers, the UK government has apparently told business leaders to stay away from politics and woke culture wars. Now, this comes as brands in this country, Costa Coffee and Doc Martens, are facing a huge potential boycott after they try to normalize women getting irreversible changes, surgeries to their bodies, obviously indicating trans men, inclusivity, etc., etc. Costa Coffee went ahead and used a cartoon advert on a van, and Doc Martens actually put the illustration on a shoe. That's how bad things are getting, but it's not being pushed in people's faces. No. It's completely normal. But Fortune.com have gone on to say, fearing a repeat of Bud Light, the UK government has told business leaders to stay away from politics and woke culture wars. Businesses are taking a stand on hot button issues in an effort to appeal to younger consumers, but as US beer brewer Anheuser-Busch will attest, this has landed them in hot water in the process. The UK government's second highest ranking Treasury official is now warning companies to steer clear from woke politics lest they wind up in the crossfire of the culture wars right next to the Bud Light parent. It lost nearly 400 million in sales last quarter following a promotion its once popular lager held with transgender influencer Dylan Mulavney in April. Time flies, doesn't it? It's August, and that was in April. And by the way, it's still ongoing. We've seen what can happen in recent months. Think of that US beer brand where consumers reacted rather differently than was anticipated, said John Glenn, Chief Secretary to the Treasury, in an interview with liberal conservative think tank Bright Blue published earlier this week. Glenn argued that the majority of the country wants businesses to simply provide good value for money and must avoid going down a checklist of things to make sure they're on the right side of the social or cultural discussion. I'm uncomfortable instinctively to see big businesses appropriating the views of their consumers to make a political point, he said. If they want to get into politics, then stand for election. The louder anti-woke stance, including wanting companies to strictly keep to business instead of addressing social issues, could be part of an effort by Sunak's government to bolster conservative support ahead of the next general election expected to be held next year. Sunak's Tories trails the Labour Party heavily following numerous scandals and missteps and could find themselves swept from power in a wipeout unless they mobilise their base. And that is completely true, for anybody who's in a different country and that doesn't keep up with UK politics, don't worry. I don't blame you. Any British person watching right now will also understand this. The Tories are losing a lot of support because, especially today, and they haven't done for so long, they don't actually stand for conservative values, so they're losing a lot of support, and it does look like, unfortunately, after the next general election, Labour is going to be in control. I suspect, you know, under Labour's control, this country will certainly turn out like America under Biden's control with the culture, etc., etc. I don't really know how much worse our economy can get, but I wouldn't put it past Labour to send it further into the... But it is interesting nonetheless, the UK government are coming out with this sort of rhetoric. I hope it's just more than a PR move. This is probably Sunak trying to get some more supporters, because they are starting to notice more and more people have really lost faith in the Conservative government. And again, you can't blame anybody, but it is great to see. Again, these people coming out and saying this, and they're completely correct. You know, businesses should stay far, far away from politics and woke culture wars, because there is going to come a time in this country when a huge brand is going to lose millions in terms of money and customers. We've seen Costa Coffee and Doc Martens heavily push for this, and there is a huge potential boycott waiting to happen with a brand, because the more you push, the more frustrated, the more tired people get. And by the way, TMZ presenters, it's not prejudice. It really does feel like a bad situation, a bad boycott is waiting to happen. I couldn't tell you what brand it's going to be. It could be any at this rate, because these companies just don't understand what direction they're heading, and they don't understand, you know, that the large majority don't want any of this. They only listen to the vocal minority, and then they start complaining when it gets them in hot water. Oh, you know, I can't believe this is happening. How about just listen to the large majority, and you will have less of a chance of losing a lot of money. It's common sense, really, isn't it? Hard to find though, hard to find. However, I think I've spoken for quite a long time here. I don't need to speak anymore. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the stories we covered today. What are your feelings on them? Do you think maybe business leaders will stop going towards woke politics and going into the woke culture wars because of the UK government? Probably not, but I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed today, then please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video, but until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.